Hey there, welcome to episode 19 of the Boob Report podcast, powered by Helix Interactive. Today, I'm hanging out with Mary Turek and Barb Demarest, two women who have devoted their time to helping women feel comfortable with their knockers. So let's get started.
Excited about this.
All right. Hello. Oh my gosh. I am so excited, you guys. You have no idea. This is going to be an awesome episode. We are talking to Mary and Barbara from Knitted Knockers. And you know what? I think I'm going to take a little back seat here and I'm going to introduce each one and let them tell you all about themselves and what an amazing, amazing project they have going here. So we're going to start with Barbara because she handles everything national all over the place. Welcome, Barbara.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to chat with you and Mary and anybody else tuning in to tell about my passion. It was 11 years ago when, actually 10 years ago, I'm exaggerating, 10 years ago when I heard the words that no woman wants to hear, that I had breast cancer. And I thought right away that I hope I don't have to have a mastectomy and I hope I don't have to lose my hair. Mm-hmm. And so I did have to have a mastectomy and I thought it'll still be okay because I can be immediately reconstructed. It'll be fine. Well, long story short, due to complications, that did not happen. So when faced with what to wear, I found that to be the most devastating time of my journey when I heard the voice on the other end of the line when I called and asked, what can I wear to appear normal to get back to work? And the lady on the other end of the line said, oh, honey, I am so sorry, but you can't put anything on that scar for at least 6 weeks. And for me, that was the first time I cried. And it was the low point. I just wanted to get back to life, to appear normal. Right. And this was just devastating to me. And so there's a lot more to this story, but I was introduced to the concept of a knitted knocker by my doctor. When I was in at the doctor's office, I picked up a brochure for the traditional breast prosthetics, and I was holding that in the doctor's office, and he looked at me and he said, you know, most women are not happy with that as a solution. They can be really hot and heavy and sticky. They're expensive, and it takes a while to get them. You can't wear them right away. And I said, well, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. And he looked at me, this man doctor, and he said, do you knit? And I'm like, yeah, why? And he said, well, I've never seen one, but I've heard there's such a thing as a knitted knocker. Oh. Well, I am a knitter, but I wasn't in any shape at that point to knit any knockers for myself. So I called up my dear friend, Phyllis. And I said, Phyllis, have you ever heard of a knitted knocker? And she said, no, but I'll find out. And so she went about her business. And the next week I went out into public for the first time. I ventured out. I went to church and I put on a loose fitting jacket, stuffed a sock in my bra. And I went out and I was very self-conscious. And I thought, I don't want anybody to see me. Just don't look at me. I just wanted to fade into the background. Well, here comes Phyllis into church with a Victoria's Secret bag. And she handed that bag to my husband and says, don't look in it. And he gave it to me. Mm-hmm. And I went into the bathroom and I pulled out the most beautiful knitted knocker. And this knitted knocker was soft and light and beautiful. Oh. And I could wear it in a regular bra. Mm-hmm. So I went into the bathroom stall and I put that knocker in my bra. And oh my gosh, it changed my life. Mm-hmm. It was huggable. It was beautiful. It was normalcy. So I took off that jacket and I went right back outside and I engaged with life. Barb was back. I was hugging people and just happy. And I thought right then, we need to provide these to women everywhere so they don't have to have a Phyllis to make them for them or know how to knit. And so that was the beginning. I'm the founder of knittedknockers.org. And that was the beginning 10 years ago. And so I'm going to come up for air and let somebody else talk for a minute. But that was really the beginning.
That is fantastic. Well, what I love is that you guys are nationwide. And so we are very lucky. The Boob Report started here in Colorado and we're expanding nationwide. But we have Mary here with us who represents Colorado for the Knitted Knockers. So I'm so excited to chat with Mary for a few minutes. Hey, Mary.
Michelle, hi Barb, how are y'all doing?
Good.
I'm so happy to be here and to be with you all and explain as a state provider for Knitted Knockers Support Foundation and what we have accomplished in the short it's been 4 years, it'll be going on 5 years, what we have accomplished. And as a state provider, I just go to the Knitted Knockers website and pull up names and addresses and the woman's bra size and band size and what they prefer in having as a knitted knocker. And I send them out to everyone in the state of Colorado that request. And I've just, the first year I got involved in 2017, I sent out 6 knitted knockers. And this year, up to date, I've sent out 513.
Oh my gosh.
It's been amazing. It's just been amazing. And I found out about Knitted Knockers just somehow looking in a magazine. I do knit, and I asked my mother to start knitting with me as my sister is a breast cancer survivor. And she only had to get a lumpectomy, but I was able to make her a small knitted knocker to fit inside her bra so it fills out her bra. And so, you know, it's just come to circle. It's just come to circle. As a state provider, I also do a lot of work with medical clinics, as I'm sure Barb will get into that later on, and how we help out with medical clinics. I go to as many events for cancer research, for American, hang on, I'm goofing up.
That's okay, you're fine.
American Cancer Society, this different walks that we've done, the different, especially in the month of October for cancer participation.
Well, you know, it's amazing. We talked about this before we came on to start recording. I have a very good friend in Atlanta who has gone through a bilateral mastectomy, and she too could not have reconstructive surgery. So, you know, due to complications and stuff like that. And she cannot say enough great things about Knitted Knockers. And she's in Atlanta. And she was actually a guest a little earlier, and it was just kismet that she would be on, and now you ladies are on telling us all about these. I love the name. Barb, where did the name come from?
Well, that's a great question. The woman who actually came up with the name and that was had the website where the pattern was posted, that Phyllis found it. Online, and she owned a yarn shop in Maine, and she had made knitted knockers for herself, and she loved them, and so she started a little group in her yarn shop making them. And so they were like, what should we call them? And they came up with the name Knitted Knockers. So when Phyllis found the pattern and I was like, we want to help make these, I tried to contact her, and the website was defunct. It she just left the pattern up there. But I tracked her down and I spoke to her and I said, can we help? Because we need to get these in the doctor's offices. And she said, well, unfortunately, I no longer have the yarn shop and I'm not able to do this anymore. And I said, well, can I use the name and can I take the ball and run with it? And she said, I'd be thrilled if you would. And so that was back in 2011. And so that is the backstory.
Wow.
Did want to share, to go along with what Mary was talking about, the state supplier. Right away, when we had this vision of we need to provide these to the doctor's offices, I asked my doctor, how many are we going to need? And he said, well, there's 50,000 mastectomies a year done in the United States alone. And he said, the demand for this is going to be so much more because so many women are not satisfied with the traditional breast prosthetics. And 90% of women who have had a mastectomy will wear a breast prosthetic at least for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, you've got 10 years worth of backlog, so you're going to need a lot. So I knew that there's no way that any one group can do this.
Mm-hmm.
There enter the miraculous people like Mary and her great knockers again. We created the website where women can go online at knittedknockers.org and order their knitted knockers. But guess what? They're not going to be filled by me.
Mm-hmm.
If they're from Colorado, they're going to be filled with one of our state suppliers, which is Mary. And the beauty of that is the Colorado women are knitting for Colorado women and crocheting. I don't want to forget our wonderful crocheters. So it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you mentioned that we're national. We're actually international. We're in 36 countries now.
Oh my God.
Yes. And so we are giving out about 10 to 12,000 free knitted knockers every month. I don't know that we even mentioned that they're free. And it's because of great volunteers like Mary and her group.
Right.
And we've got that replicated all around the country and the world. And that's why so many women are being helped.
That is amazing. And we're going to get into that. And we'll have more information, obviously, on the show notes in our website on how you guys can help these lovely ladies out. But so Mary, when you got started here in Colorado, how did you get your team together to start helping you? Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say you didn't knit all 513 on your own.
You're pretty close. No, Michelle, I just went to a yarn shop. As the expression goes, I just pulled on my big girl panties, got my nerve up, and walked into a yarn shop and just started talking to the owners. And they said they had always wanted to get involved, but had no staff to do that. And I said, I am your girl. This is what I'll do. And I will organize it for you. All I need for you to do is help me advertise because I don't know how to advertise. And the yarn shop was great. Piney Creek Yarn in Centennial, Colorado. I just have to throw their name out.
Sure,
but the ladies were absolutely wonderful in getting me started. We set up and meet once a month. And because of COVID, we've had to really cut back. We've had to make a lot of changes, adapt to the rules of Colorado and everything. But the women that I have are unbelievable. They make me so many knockers, and I'm able to help provide to other states when, for some reason, order doesn't get fulfilled in that state. Then it comes up on the website, and I can fulfill that. But I just got out there and got my face out there and just said, this is what I want to do, and I want to help these women. And the thank yous, when you're talking about most women will wear a prosthetic for maybe 5 years or so, the thank yous that I get, thank you notes, that I get from women who love their knitted knockers and say that they no longer go home with backaches and that the prosthetics are heavy, they're uncomfortable, they make them sweat, everything you've just said.
Right.
And,
It's just, it just breaks my, just tears you up every time you read a note, because I know that in some little way I've paid it forward and just tried to help out someone who I know is really suffering.
Right. Now, I have to say, I love it's Knitted Knockers is like the main name, and then Colorado has Great Knockers again. So does every state, do they kind of come up with a variation on the name?
We have 197 state suppliers throughout the country.
Okay.
And we set out to inspire and equip them to provide to their communities. And so part of that is to give them the resources they need and then let them fly. Some of them have named their groups Great Knockers Again, like in Colorado. Some of them do not name their groups.
Okay.
They just operate in the background. Some are 1 or 2 people that are a state supplier. Some have 10 and 20 or 30 people in their group. So we post on the website the patterns, which have been downloaded over 1 million times.
Okay.
They're free, and video tutorials on how to make them. But as far as the website, if you register with us as a knitter or crocheter, we're going to tell you the approved yarns and help you with that. If you want to go to the next level and become a state supplier, we are going to walk alongside of you to give you the resources you need, the print materials. We help reimburse the cost of the postage, things like that, with fundraising and we are in this together. And so I try not to micromanage these groups. And, when I look at Great Knockers Again, I've seen some amazing pictures of some amazing women doing what they do well. So why should I tell them how to do it?
Right.
It's great. It's just awesome. And one thing that Mary touched on were the notes, the thank you notes. I knew right away that we were going to be providing a great product. What I didn't realize is that we were going to be providing a resource for women going through a very difficult time to be able to share their stories with us, knowing that we understand. And so when a woman goes online and orders her knitted knockers, sometimes she will tell us her story that she's been struggling with lymphedema or the scar tissue, the burns from radiation, these different things, knowing that we would understand. And so it's been a very helpful thing from that respect too.
Yeah, I think so. I me personally, there's some women who they'll go to a support group, to get support, but then there's other women that are more private. And when they have that opportunity to tell their story and just sort of get it out, I think that is so therapeutic and it's beautiful. And it also kind of helps you guys realize, how you're helping this person, how you're helping this woman get through this difficult time in her life.
That's for sure. And one other thing that was a surprise to me out of this was the benefits to those of us that are making these knitted knockers. And Mary also touched on that. I have a story of Anne that I like to share. We have a group prior to COVID that would meet together and there'd be about 20 that would meet together every week to stuff the incoming knockers and to prepare them for shipment out. And we just have a great time. We laugh and have just a bunch of women just enjoying doing something together. And one time Anne came, and Anne was in her 80s, and she quietly sat down and just started crocheting a knocker. And she didn't say much during the time. And as she left, after we were breaking up, I followed her out to the car and I said, Anne, I just want to thank you for coming so much. And she looked at me and she said, I lost my husband 3 years ago. And she said, I've been grieving terrible ever since. And there's just been nothing that's really helped me. She said, I've tried grief support. I've tried, just all different resources. And she says, nothing has helped like this has, knowing that I can still make a difference in somebody else's life. And that is something, this is like the trifecta, I should say. Women going through the mastectomy, the trauma of cancer and such, benefiting by the love and caring unconditionally by sometimes complete strangers. Knowing that somebody cares makes a huge difference. The person making them has a passion and purpose, knowing that they are using their skill and their craft to help others in a real practical way. And so I just see it as a win-win-win.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mary, do you have any story that sticks out in your mind? I'm sure you have a million of them, but just one that sort of sticks out more than others.
Thank you. Uh, um, I have a dear friend who is a breast cancer survivor, and she had a double mastectomy, and she is also a performer, a singer, and she did a performance and had her costume on and her robe, and said for the first time that I gave her a pair of knockers for it, she said that she actually felt like it fit her correctly and fit her fine, and she just felt inspired. And that would be a story that I could think of off my head. As I mentioned, my sister, I made a knocker for her. I was with her in October in Florida, and we were swimming, and she was just so happy to pull out her little swimmer knocker out of her bathing suit and say, see, my bathing suit even fits me right now because of what you have done for me. And so that you were able to get this made for me. So that would be another story too.
Right.
And it's just amazing. Knowing how we've helped these women, and like Barb touched on, they're free for women.
Mhm.
And all you have to do is ask for them, and we send them out to you. We don't even ask for reimbursement of postage or anything. I get that taken care of.
Mhm.
But the fact that we can help these women and make them feel pretty again, and maybe breasts are a very important part to a woman's life.
Mhm.
And like Barb said, she was scared about losing her hair and losing her breasts. And some women might not care about that, but some women really do. And especially professional women who are out there, or just mothers or whomever, want to look good again and want to feel good again. And we make them in all sizes. All you have to do is just ask for them.
Right. Yeah.
Well, to add to that, it doesn't matter how old you are too, you never lose that desire.
Barb, remember, Barb, I asked you one time, I had a lady ask me for 5 pair for her 90-year-old mother, which was so cute because she said her mother wanted a separate pair in each of her bras. And I said, Barb, should I really send her out 5 pair? And she goes, if you have 5 pairs, send them out. If you don't, let me know. So the woman wanted to sew them inside each of her bras so that she could launder them. And that woman was 90, 91 years old or something like that in a nursing home.
Oh,
I thought it was great.
That's awesome.
She sends me this picture of it. It was the cutest thing.
I love
Well,
it.
and I was going
about that.
I was going to share a story about a 91-year-old woman who came in we're in Bellingham, Washington, our headquarters, and she came in and picked hers up, and we have some that have nipples and some that don't.
Uh-huh.
And so she picked one out that had a nipple on it. She goes into the bathroom and puts that in her bra, and she comes out and she just says, first time in 20 years that I've had a nipple. I hope that's appropriate on this, but
It's totally appropriate. That is totally, I love it. That's
and we
awesome.
have nursing home people that are making them, and they sit there together in a group and make them for other women too. So it's both sides. It's meeting needs.
I love it. Well, I can't even tell you, this just makes me feel so good. I've just got like goosebumps all over. So I'm going to let you ladies tell us how people can support, either through volunteering, financial, all of that. And again, we will have that in the episode notes, on the website, and I'll give all that information out. But I think before we came on, Barb, you had something about fuzzy knockers.
Oh, let me tell the hairy knocker story if we have time.
Yes, we do.
So very early on, Phyllis was knitting knockers. I was knitting knockers. I think it was just the two of us at that time, making them and taking them into a local doctor's office. Well, Phyllis would make them and then bring them to me. And then I would stuff them and my sister-in-law in our laundry room, my laundry room. And then we would put them in a bag and take them to the doctor's office. Well, one time in the bag was this big, hairy knocker. It was made out of what they call eyelash yarn. It was purple with green hair and orange specks. And it was a big knocker, like a D or double D. And I thought, oh my gosh, Phyllis, what is she thinking? Nobody's going to want a hairy knocker. By the way, a little side note, about 80% of our requests are for neutral colors. Okay. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to knit hairy knockers, don't do that. But anyway, so I thought, well, I'll stuff it up and I put it in the bag that go to the doctor's office. Well, it wasn't any time at all. I get this email from this lady that says, I wanted to thank you for my knitted knocker. I was in at my doctor's office and she said, I was wondering, what am I going to do? I was so depressed and dejected. And the doctor brought out this bag of knitted knockers. And she said, as I looked through that bag, there was one jewel that shone brighter than the rest. It was purple with green hair and orange specks. And those that are watching this on YouTube can see I'm holding up one. It's a different one, but it's got the same concept. And she said, it made me smile at a really difficult time. And she said, and my friends just marvel at the beauty of it when I whip it out and show it to them. So I just want to thank you so much for my knitted knocker. So that's the hairy knocker story. Don't knit hairy knockers. Not very many people really want those.
That is awesome.
You know, I have found out, back to what Barb was saying, you know, most people do request the neutral knockers, but when I supply medical clinics with the knitted knockers and the doctor's offices and different various hospitals, I always stick in colorful pairs, just thinking, if I was in that situation, I would want a colorful pair of knockers. I would want something that I could stick in and just be really proud of. And the Broncos, you know, Michelle, are big here. So I always have a bag of Bronco knockers and then to give away too.
We've got Seattle Seahawk knockers too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I live in Colorado, but I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, born and raised in Texas. So yeah. Oh, I love that. And I totally agree with you. I would be the person that would come in. I would pick a neutral pair, but then I'd also want something really fun and funky. You know, I just think that's so amazing how you ladies can do that. I love it. Well, what we'll do as we kind of circle back and start wrapping things up is I want you to share how people can help you out, either volunteering, financial, however.
Well, I'll take that one.
Okay.
This good, okay.
Oh, did you have something, Mary, before I?
Well, no, I was going to say, we advertise, like I said earlier, through our knitting group, and I have got the best group of women. There probably at one point we had 30 women knitting for us and making knockers. And I was able to supply medical clinics all over Colorado with knockers. I was able to send knockers, additional knockers to knitted knockers when they would make a call out for a certain size that they were running out of. Knitted Knockers has a program in Haiti that I sent a whole bunch of knockers to. I've got the best, and the thing about it is these are all volunteers. They are using their time and their money to purchase the yarn. And Barb alluded to having a required list of yarns, which have been tested and tested thoroughly to make sure that they hit and make the requirements that are of a knitted knocker.
Okay.
So volunteering the time, the women and men, I've got this men's knitting group too that I've been trying to wheel my way into, but COVID, this disease called COVID, has put a stop to just about everything. So
yeah.
There's basically three ways that people can help. If you can knit or crochet, you can make the knockers. Okay. And there's specific ways you can provide to your local medical clinics. We have over 1,700 medical clinics that are registered with us. Okay. 900 of those have been adopted by groups like Mary's, but that leaves about 750 clinics still looking for people to knit and just carry them into them. We provide the print materials.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, crochet. Every time I say knit, I should say knit or crochet. So if you can make knockers, go to knittedknockers.org, register with us, and we will equip you to do, and you only do as little or as much as you are able to. We are, as Mary said, all volunteers. Nobody's paid in our whole organization. So, secondly is get the word out on social media, share about us, knittedknockers.org. And we have a Facebook page that is Knitted Knockers, and it's got the pink ribbon. There's a bunch of Knitted Knockers groups, like many of our state providers have their own groups. We are the page, Knitted Knockers, and like us, and you can stay in tune with that, but you can share too, because that reaches two audiences. The women that can use them that may never have heard of these, may go, what the heck is that? And those that can make them. And then the third way is to donate. Like I mentioned, no paid people. We are a 501c3, and we survive by donations. We do not charge for our knitted knockers. Our average donation is around $20. We figure it costs us $10 to make a pair of knitted knockers and to mail them out. And so, like I said, we survive by donations, and there's a way to donate at knittedknockers.org. And that does come into the central organization, but it is diffused out or sent out to support our state suppliers in doing what they do. So that's the three ways that people can help.
Awesome. I love it. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. I have so been looking forward to this recording ever since we started.
I got so much more to say.
I know there is, which usually means that I bring people back for, round 2 of being a guest. So you guys will definitely be in the calendar for round 2 in 2022. But I'm so grateful to both of you for taking the time and to spend with me today and to get the word out. And we will definitely be doing more of these. So thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you, Michelle. I mean, we really appreciate it. I know Barb does too. Just letting women know that there is an alternative for them. And even just during those stages of reconstruction, we can help out that way too. Like Barb said, with the skin is burned from radiation or scars, how tender the skin is from scarring. The knockers just help provide that little bit of relief.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it.
Okay. Not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Such an amazing time with Mary and Barb. These women truly embody the very best in all of us who are going through our journeys with breast cancer. And I love the quote from Barb: "A simple gift of comfort and dignity knit by a caring friend changed my life." We have links and information where you can learn more about Knitted Knockers and their work on our website, www.theboobreport.com/podcast, episode 19, show notes. And a very big thank you to all of you for spending time with us today. Be sure to like and follow us, and definitely share the podcast with your friends. You can become an active listener and support us by clicking on the podcast link on our website at www.theboobreport.com. Take care.